Hello, church. So here's our devotional for Wednesday, December 10th. Wound up missing yesterday because I got back a little bit later than I was anticipating, but we continue in our Songs of Ascents, and today we step into Psalm 125. Um, I'm going to start out with the NRSV, and then we'll jump into some James May stuff as we continue. Psalm 125, a song of ascents. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved but abides forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time on and forevermore. For the scepter of wickedness shall not rest on the land allotted to the righteous, so that the righteous might not stretch out their hands to do wrong. Do good, O Lord, to those who are good, and to those who are upright in their hearts. But those who turn aside to their own crooked ways, the Lord will lead away with evildoers. Peace be upon Israel. So we've talked about some of the dynamics of these psalms being used by pilgrims as they make their way into Jerusalem. You're going to be introduced to a word that I think I've mentioned before in sermons, but just to make sure you have a context before we come in. Mays is going to use the word chiasmus. And so I don't want you to get too deeply into that. It's a Greek word. It's basically the symbol for the letter X. There's different places in Scripture where we see this literary structure used. And so it's normally a statement, subpoint, another subpoint, and then they reverse it and come back out, and then kind of a reaffirmation of the statement. The way that we would diagram it in seminary is doing like A, B, C, and then C prime, B prime, A prime. This is a piece that we find in a lot of Paul's letters, and it's just drawing us to kind of these central points, just part of literary criticism. And yeah, enough about that. Psalm 125, like Mount Zion. Psalm 125 is the sixth in the collection of Song of Ascents. The psalm begins with a double positive statement composed in the form of a chiasmus about the Lord's protection of those who trust him. That's in verses 1 to 2. The pattern is relation to the Lord, simile, relation to the Lord. The statement uses the place, Mount Zion in Jerusalem. It talks about the mountains surrounding Jerusalem to teach the protection the Lord gives Israel. Then the danger from which protection is needed is identified in a negative statement of assurance that the power of wickedness would not prevail over the righteous. A double petition, one on behalf of the good and one against the wicked. And that's verses 4 and 5. Corresponds to the preceding statements about the righteous and the wicked. The song prays for what it first teaches. It teaches trust and praise for those whose trust is heart true. A liturgical invitation of peace upon Israel concludes the whole. And that liturgical is just a worship use for the people to say, peace be upon you, or be upon Israel. And then here is our message 125, a pilgrim song. Those who trust in God are like Zion mountain. Nothing can move it, a rock-solid mountain you can always depend on. Mountains encircle Jerusalem, and God encircles his people, always has and always will. The fist of the wicked will never violate what is due the righteous, provoking wrongful vengeance. Be good to your good people, God. To those whose hearts are right, God will round up the backsliders, corral them with the incorrigibles. Peace over Israel. And so that's our Psalm 125. We'll continue in our Song of Ascents tomorrow and wish you all a very blessed day. See you later.